tonight.
Sounded like a threat.
Describing the president as intimidating, the former U.S. ambassador to the Ukraine takes the public stand. The president targeting the Democrats' witness with real-time tweets.
It's been very unfair, very hard on my family.
This after a full-throated rebuttal at a Keep America Great rally. Plus, our CBN News interview with Nikki Haley, the former U.S. ambassador to the UN.
And a controversial ruling.
They joined sanctions against Israel. Unbelievable.
Why Republicans and Democrats are opposing an EU court decision.
And don't miss this.
It's a fact.
Drones are delivering packages to the first homes in the U.S.
All this and more tonight on Faith Nation.
The dismissed ambassador delivering damaging testimony at today's public impeachment hearing. Welcome to Faith Nation. I'm John Jessup.
And I'm Jenna Browder. Today, all eyes were on Marie Yovanovitch, the former U.S. ambassador to Ukraine. She was ousted from her post about 2 months before that now infamous phone call between President Trump and Ukraine's president.
Developments surrounding her removal is what prompted House Democrats to call for her testimony. Joining us now is CBN News Capitol Hill correspondent Abigail Robertson. Abby, what did we learn new today?
Well, John, Ambassador Yovanovitch took the opportunity today to walk through her credentials as a longtime U.S. diplomat who served under both Republican and Democrat presidents. And she also discussed what it was like from her point of view, feeling intimidated by the president and being unexpectedly terminated.
After 33 years of service to our country, it was terrible.
Yovanovitch believes her ousting came from a smear campaign led by President Trump's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, and associates, some of whom have since been indicted for funneling foreign money to American political candidates.
Individuals with questionable motives and with reason to believe that their political and financial ambitions would be stymied by our anti-corruption policy in Ukraine.
She testified the situation only got worse after seeing how she was discussed in the July phone call transcript released by the White House.
What was your reaction when you heard the President of the United States refer to you as bad news?
I couldn't believe it. I mean, again, shocked, appalled, devastated that the President of the United States would talk about any ambassador like that to a foreign head of state.
Adding it caused her grave concern.
It sounded like a threat.
As she testified about feeling threatened, the president tweeted, "Everywhere Marie Yovanovitch went turned bad. It is the U.S. president's absolute right to appoint ambassadors."
And now the president in real time is attacking you. What effect do you think that has on other witnesses' willingness to come forward?
Well, it's very intimidating.
When Republicans were up, they questioned why Yovanovitch was there.
The ambassador is not a material fact witness to any of the accusations that are being hurled at the president.
Pointing out she was terminated months before the phone call or discussion of holding up Ukrainian aid.
Do you believe your removal was part of some scheme?
I think that's certainly what the Ukrainian establishment hoped.
The Republican counsel called into question her theory of being removed as part of a corruption scheme by asking her opinion of the acting ambassador, William Taylor.
Is Ambassador Taylor the type of person that would facilitate those objectives?
No, absolutely a man of the highest integrity.
Now, in addition to Yovanovitch's testimony today, David Holmes, a State Department official, will also give a closed-door deposition answering questions about a phone call he overheard where President Trump reportedly asked Gordon Sondland, the U.S. ambassador to the EU, about investigations. Back to you, John and Jenna.
All right, Abigail Robertson on Capitol Hill. Thank you, Abby. Well, the president is hitting back over the impeachment inquiry.
Yeah, on Twitter, like we saw with Marie Yovanovitch, and just about every other venue. Senior Washington correspondent Paul Strand joins us with more on the president's rebuttal. Paul?
Yes, well, President Trump may not be watching all the impeachment hearings, but that certainly doesn't mean he's ignoring them. Case in point, last night's rally he had in Louisiana.
The absolutely crazed lunatics, the Democrats, radical left, and their media partners standing right back there. are pushing the deranged impeachment witch hunt for doing nothing wrong. Doing nothing wrong. You know, we did nothing wrong, and they're doing nothing. But once again, their lies will be exposed, just like the last times.
The president let the crowd know all these attacks on him are hurting his family.
Impeachment to me is a dirty word. It's been very unfair, very hard on my family. Me, it's my whole life. It's crazy. What a life I lead. You think this is fun, don't you? But it's been very hard on my family. Very, very hard.
Adding to that, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi went to a higher level, accusing the president of a crime the U.S. Constitution calls impeachable.
You haven't even made a decision to impeach. That's what the inquiry is about. And when the committees decide that, and they will decide what the articles are. But I am saying that what is the president has admitted to and says it's perfect, I said it's perfectly wrong. It's bribery.
Trump shot back at the speaker, tweeting, "Nervous Nancy Pelosi, who should be home cleaning up the dangerous and disgusting slum she is making of her district in San Francisco, where even the filth pouring into the Pacific Ocean is rapidly becoming an environmental hazard, is getting nothing done." Well, Trump didn't let up this afternoon. He expressed fury with rules that have limited what Republicans can do in the hearings.
I think it's considered a joke all over Washington and all over the world. The Republicans are given no due process whatsoever. We're not allowed to do anything. It's a disgrace what's happening. But you know what? The American public understands it, and that's why the poll numbers are so good, and that's why other things are so good.
He then blasted the news media's coverage of the impeachment process and his presidency, calling the press unbelievably dishonest. And he said that's why the mainstream media are seeing their lowest approval ratings in the history of the country.
All right, Paul Strand, thank you. Well, Nikki Haley, President Trump's former ambassador to the United Nations, was at Liberty University today and spoke with CBN News.
Her appearance at Liberty's convocation comes just days after the president's son, Donald Trump Jr., hit the same venue. CBN News chief political analyst David Brody caught up with Haley in Lynchburg, Virginia, after her speech, offering her take on the effort of former White House cabinet members to undermine the president.
Do you think all of this impeachment process, all of this is going to backfire on Democrats? I mean, he could literally be impeached and be the first president to win re-election being impeached.
I think it's already backfiring. I mean, I think, you're seeing they're no longer using the words quid pro quo, and now they're moving on to bribery because nothing is sticking. And look, the way I look at it is the way I've always viewed anything. Look at the facts. Let's just look at the facts, not the rhetoric, not what either side is saying. Look at the facts. Here was a president who was just talking with another president. They were having a casual conversation. He brought up the corruption and the investigation because this Ukrainian president was elected to fight the corruption that was happening in Ukraine. So it was actually very relevant. He brings up an investigation. No investigation happens. The money flows. There's no sign of demands or threat or anything. The Democrats might have a little sense of credibility if they hadn't been trying to impeach this president from the very first day. Is the House going to impeach him? Yes, probably. Is the Senate going to do anything? I doubt it. And then is there going to be another election and he runs? Yes, there will be. And I think at this point we're going to see him win.
Do you believe there are deep state operatives at work to undermine this president?
Well, I'll tell you what I experienced, and that was there are a lot of Foreign Service officers that do great work. I mean, they're true patriots. They're experts in their field, and we couldn't have done a lot of our work without them. But there were a few, even at the U.S. mission at the United Nations and State Department, that were showing their political bias. I mean, they would push against what we were trying to do, or they would try and stall what we were trying to do. And so there is a reality there that people didn't want to change with the times. I mean, the president is a disruptor.
There's a lot of folks that call him a racist, that say he's racist in nature. You say what to those people?
He's not racist. He's not racist. He never showed any signs of that. And when it came to, any sort of racist issues, he was never anything but professional and kind and respectful to me. I never saw him be anything different to anyone else. And with the Charlottesville incident, I talk about how I called him because I was sensitive from what had happened in Charleston. And I just, at that time, was so worried that people were going to take his words and do something damaging from it. And we had a great discussion. And, you know, I think a lot of that is people make assumptions about the president, but I worked with him for 2 years. I didn't see anything that would have implied that he was racist in any way whatsoever.
And you can see more of that interview on CBNnews.com. Meantime, Roger Stone, the president's former advisor, was found guilty today in a trial dealing with Russian interference in the 2016 election. A jury found Stone guilty on all counts of obstruction, witness tampering, and lying to Congress about attempts to contact WikiLeaks. The president, in a tweet, called Stone's conviction a double standard. Quote, "What about crooked Hillary, Comey, and all of the others, including even Mueller himself? Didn't they lie?" Stone will be sentenced in February.
And here with us now, Julia Manchester, political reporter with The Hill. Julia, tough day for the Trump administration with the public hearings and then, as Jenna just mentioned, Roger Stone's verdict. How significant is that court outcome?
You know, it's very significant in that it kind of harkens back to the 2016 election. I think for President Trump, he takes any, qualms with how he won the 2016 election, how WikiLeaks played into it as personally, as kind of, he takes that as someone saying your win wasn't legitimate. So he is very focused on that. But, overall, the Trump administration doesn't want to be focused on impeachment or this Roger Stone hearing ahead of 2020. They want to be focused on kitchen table issues like health care and the economy. Now, they're saying that impeachment will help them in the long term, but we're seeing there's a lot of investigation fatigue among the American people. And, as President Trump continues to dig in on a lot of these issues and not tweet as much about the economy as he sometimes does, and we know that the economy is a winning issue for the president, I don't know if this plays well for him in the long run.
One of the biggest moments in today's Marie Yovanovitch hearing into impeachment was when the president weighed in on Twitter. Democrats say his tweet, Julia, is witness intimidation. What do you say? What did you make of his tweet?
It was really remarkable to see that and to see Adam Schiff, the House Intelligence Chairman, essentially read that and give Marie Yovanovitch a chance to respond. But it just really shows how much President Trump has inserted himself into this impeachment inquiry. And, you hear a lot of comparisons between the Trump impeachment inquiry as well as the Clinton impeachment inquiry. And like I said before, the Clinton impeachment inquiry was different because Clinton, when he didn't have to talk about impeachment, he was laser focused on the issues. He didn't want to talk about the issue of impeachment or what he was accused of if he didn't have to. And we saw that he won the following election. Trump seems to be taking a very opposite approach to that. But, this could backfire on Democrats as well. That investigation fatigue and that fatigue about the ongoing activity in Washington, they are the ones bringing a lot of this up as well. So I think, Marie Yovanovitch isn't necessarily a household name, so it's going to be hard to see how the American people really digest this and see how it goes going forward. But not a good day for the Trump administration when he injects himself into this.
Do you think that tweet could potentially lead to a new article of impeachment?
I think anything is possible at this point, but I will tell you that Democrats will absolutely seize on that and paint it or, try to show it or describe it as witness intimidation.
On her way out, Marie Yovanovitch, she got people were clapping and cheering for her. Julia, what did you make of her, of Marie Yovanovitch as a witness? How credible was she?
I think to Democrats, she is someone who puts a face on the impeachment inquiry. She is someone who was ousted from her job after she said that she voiced concerns about Rudy Giuliani and his dealings with Ukraine on behalf of the U.S. government. So for them, she's very credible. And I think however, Republicans aren't necessarily going to take that same approach. I don't know if, congressional or Senate Republicans are going to attack her the same way President Trump has so far today, but I don't think they're going to obviously paint her as a hero.
Real quickly here, finally, Nikki Haley, how much do you think people are paying attention to her and her future political ambitions, given that she's kind of making the rounds?
Yeah, they're absolutely paying attention here in Washington, I think in Columbia, South Carolina as well, where she hails from. 2024 is not that far away, so it's kind of hard for me to focus on that when we're so focused on 2020. But yes, I think this is her definitely putting her name out there and in a way pledging her loyalty to President Trump. So we also saw Jeff Sessions, his races in 2020, but both of these figures are very much trying to ride that Trump wave despite their history with him.
Julia Manchester with The Hill. It's always so good to have you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Coming up, Democrats and Republicans do agree on this. Their opposition over a European Union ruling involving Israeli products.
Come home to the sounds of Southern Gospel from CBN Radio. You'll enjoy a rich Southern blend of bluegrass, classic gospel, and Southern gospel favorites like the Gaithers, the Crab Family, and bluegrass sounds like Mountain Faith. So make yourself at home with the all-new CBN Southern Gospel. Now available at cbnradio.com.
Meet the pastors who are preaching the gospel in a fresh, fearless way. I'm Roberto Torres-Cedillo. Join me each week for Next Gen Voices. And watch God transform a generation.
Prophecy thousands of years old.
We were called to be a light to the world.
Being fulfilled today. Discover how. Get to life. Call 1-800-700-7000.
We consider it our duty to reach out and help others around the world.
For a gift of $10 or more, you can own the acclaimed CBN documentary To Life. Just call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to cbn.com.
To treat a human, no matter what he is, which religious he has, which color he is. This is what I'm doing.
See how the people of Israel are fulfilling prophecy.
History is being written, and I want to be a part of it.
By sharing their knowledge.
In Africa, in Asia, in South America, in East Europe.
And their love.
This is how we work. This is us.
Get to life. Call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to cbn.com.
Welcome back. Well, even in a divided Congress, members of both parties are coming together to oppose a controversial European Union court decision.
Yeah, this week's EU ruling about Israeli products brought a swift reaction from the Israeli government. Chris Mitchell has the story from Jerusalem.
Israel quickly condemned a ruling from the European Union's top court that products from the so-called West Bank cannot carry the Made in Israel label.
The indication of origin of the products originating in Israeli settlements must be correct and not misleading to the consumer.
Reaction was swift and widespread. Danny Janone, Israel's UN ambassador, saying, "This is another example of Europe continuing its surrender to Israel's enemies. The EU's discrimination against the Zionist enterprise will provide legal cover for anti-Semitism."
Israel strongly rejects the recent ruling of the European Court of Justice, which has one aim and one aim only, and that is to signal out Israel and to apply double standards against it.
Expressing deep concern, the U.S. State Department said the ruling suggested anti-Israel bias. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu credited Secretary of State Mike Pompeo for providing clarity, something Europe clearly failed to do.
Europe the other day decided to act against Israel and to put labels on products that are made here. They don't join exactly the sanctions against Iran. They join sanctions against Israel. Unbelievable.
PLO's Hanan Ashwari welcomed the labeling decision as a first step.
We believe that the real thing that should happen, the only just thing, is not to import these settlement products and produce in the first place.
Professor Gerald Steinberg of the NGO Monitor condemned the decision, calling it a gateway drug towards boycott, divestment, and sanctions. Israel Gantz, head of the group governing the Israeli settlements, doesn't believe the ruling will hurt businesses.
The product here is of high standards. Everyone wants to produce, Jews and Arabs. There is demand in the markets, and therefore, besides this miserable decision, I hope and estimate there will be no impact.
Boycotts of Israeli companies in the West Bank often backfire, hurting Palestinians more than the intended targets. Case in point, SodaStream. CBN News has documented the company's success and its employment of some 500 Palestinians, paying them 4 times the salary likely provided by Palestinian employers. Attacked for years by the BDS movement, SodaStream eventually moved operations inside Israel, costing most of the Palestinians their jobs. For now, Israel can only wait and see if the new ruling has any impact. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Coming up, Google drones could soon be dropping off packages at your doorstep, as they already are in one Virginia town. We'll show you where next.
Too often, we carry baggage from our past. You know what it's like. It affects everything and everyone in our lives. It's always there, weighing us down and keeping us from achieving true happiness. But do you know God never meant for us to be trapped in the past? You can be free of your baggage. Learn how God's forgiveness leads to changed lives and new beginnings. Call the 700 Club.
I'm Ephraim Graham, and this is Studio 5. Cruise with me as I discover the good things happening in the world of music, sports, television, and movies.
The fact that Ryan Coogler was going to be directing the film, I knew that something special was going to happen.
We'll chat with artists at the forefront of entertainment and explore the connection between popular culture and faith.
I asked my pastor, I said, well, does that mean I'm supposed to be a preacher? He says, well, no, you already have a pulpit.
Watch Studio 5, Wednesday night at 9:30.
Tikkun Olam.
This is our nature as a country.
To make the world a better place.
Literally, we felt the earth shaking.
The Christian Broadcasting Network presents To Life, how Israeli volunteers are changing the world.
This film needs to be seen by everyone.
I was in tears.
Now you can own the inspiring documentary To Life on DVD.
There is blood on our hands if we know and we walk away.
I'm so grateful that this film was made.
To Life can be yours for a gift of $10 or more. Call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to CBN.com.
We know that every minute counts to save life.
It'll bless Israel, but it'll also bless all the friends of Israel.
Discover the untold story of how Israeli volunteers are making the world a better place. Call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to CBN.com to get your copy today.
Home delivery by drone is here.
That's pretty amazing. Don't you love getting packages?
It's so, oh, I do. It's the best. It's the best.
It's one of the best things. Yeah. Well, the secretive research and development company known as X operates under Google's parent company, Alphabet. And now it's delivering Project Wing to your doorstep.
Drone delivery has been in the works for a long time. It's only now in this small town in Virginia that you can order a package and have it delivered straight to your doorstep.
Oh!
Wow! And that first delivery.
It's so fast!
What's already landing in Australia and Finland is now hitting the ground in Virginia.
No, I didn't think I would either live that long or it wouldn't come during my lifetime. I'm thrilled.
Project Wing's trial landing area is confined to about 4 miles. Yet not everyone in Christiansburg will get this home delivery service.
I want to sign up, and I would if it was available.
Still, people here are pretty excited about food, medical supplies, and other deliveries.
Cold medicine, ibuprofen, things like that is what I would be ordering.
Walgreens' Vish Sankaran says next up could be prescription drugs.
Years back it was about next day, then it became same day.
By partnering with Google's Project Wing, Walgreens is the first national retailer to offer drone delivery on demand.
With drone delivery, it's within minutes. You don't have all the traffic challenges and so on.
Flying at speeds up to 75 miles per hour and heights up to 400 feet, Project Wing's drones have made some 80,000 flights and 3,000 deliveries.
The drone will fly as the crow flies.
FedEx is joining in on the fun too.
It also provides a benefit in terms of rural service areas.
There are weather constraints, but Joe Stevens says the prospect of saving gas and saving drivers from long hours on the road is a huge benefit.
You don't have to worry about if a road's been plowed.
Given that drone delivery is likely inevitable, the FAA is working with Tombo Jones and a team at Virginia Tech to make sure it's safe.
We've been charged with helping to safely integrate drones into the national airspace.
That mission is helping to ensure that the flying robots heading your way don't fall out of the sky.
It's our job to ensure safety is paramount.
Right now, it's only small packages like this one that are available for drone delivery. But bigger things are on the horizon. Gabe LaMonica, CBN News, Christiansburg, Virginia.
Coming up, a record-breaking flight that looks like it's straight out of a science fiction movie. That story when we come back.
It's the new Superbook Bible app. It's packed with games, activities, and Superbook episodes that you can watch for free. Oh, no! There's trivia, a fun daily devotional, and answers to your Bible questions. Plus, an easy-to-understand Bible the whole family will enjoy. You can even create your own Superbook character. Ta-da! It's the new Superbook Bible app. Free downloads on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon.
From Washington, D.C., uncompromising stories, interviews, and analysis from veteran journalists David Brody.
Escalating fight.
Jenna Browder.
Chose his words carefully.
Ben Kennedy.
Plan to join him.
And Amber Strong.
For impeachment grows a little bit louder.
Bringing you the political news that matters.
We get out and tell the story of the progress that we're making in this country.
Watch Faith Nation, weeknights at 6 on the CBN News Channel.
We will move the American embassy to the eternal capital of the Jewish people, Jerusalem.
As the nations rage, you can stand with Israel.
History is being written, and I want to be a part of it.
Call 1-800-700-7000 and get to life.
This is our nature as a country.
Discover the untold story of how Israeli volunteers are changing the world.
We consider it our duty to reach out and help others around the world.
For a gift of $10 or more, you can own the acclaimed CBN documentary To Life.
To treat a human, no matter what he is, which religious he have, which color he is, this is what I'm doing.
Support Israel in their time of need. Get to Life, now available on DVD. Call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to cbn.com.
And I wish that other people throughout the world could see this side of Israel.
And finally tonight, it's a thought that's probably crossed your mind when you're sitting in traffic, imagining ways to get around all the other cars on the road. Well, there may be a new method, Jenna, something that is being referred to as an Ironman suit.
An Ironman suit, the space-age suit, just broke a world record for fastest jetpack flight to date. The Ironman's inventor, who calls himself Jetman, suited up for the historic ride in Britain. Get this, Guinness World Record says the flight hit speeds upwards of 85 miles an hour, John. That's more than 50 miles per hour faster than the previous record set back in 2017. The wind-guided suit has body-controlled jet engines. Its inventor says he was using this new record-shattering flight to show how technology had advanced since the previous record was set, and that was, 2017. It's amazing how quickly technology just improves and advances.
It sure is. Can you imagine being suited up in one of those jets, flying into a drone?
85 miles an hour.